Now, I have told several times on my podcast channel about the miraculous way that God brought me and my husband to this area, to the Ozarks. Okay. So if you want to see the whole story, I tell about it in the last week of October, 2024. Okay. So last year, October, last week of October, if you want to hear the whole story, I'll tell you very quickly, just to kind of catch people up. We got a lot of new subscribers since then. So Craig and I, we've lived here for 4 years in the Ozarks. And before this, we lived in St. Louis, Missouri. And so it had never been our plan to move here at all. So my husband and I, he retired in 2021 from Boeing. And so several years before that, we bought 34 acres of off-grid property in southeast Missouri. So over on the other side of the state from where we are now, over 4 hours away from where we are now. So we had this off-grid property. There were a couple of cabins on it. And so we were slowly fixing it up and setting up solar power and rainwater catchment, composting toilet. We were getting it set up to live off grid after he retired. So that was our plan. We believed God was calling us to do that. I think he was. And we learned a lot. That was awesome. So, but 3 months before Craig retired, this amazing, miraculous thing happened to me and Craig. So we were eating dinner at a restaurant with Craig's family, and something happened, and God told Craig and told me the exact same message at the exact same time. This has never happened before. It may never happen again. It was the biggest thing, the biggest miraculous thing I think that has ever happened to either of us, especially to us together. And so the message that God told us was so clear, and it was so loud that both of us not only knew exactly what God told us, but we knew that he told the other person. And so what he said was, sell everything and move to the Ozarks. Sell everything and move to the Ozarks. And so it was so loud. Craig and I turned around and we looked at each other and we repeated it verbatim in unison. We said, we're supposed to sell everything and move to the Ozarks. And Craig's family, they're sitting around and they're like, what just happened? And we were so sure, this was not our plan at all, but we were so sure of what God said that we immediately went home and started getting ready to sell everything and move to the Ozarks. Totally out of our comfort zone. We are planners. We don't do that. But we did that. So when he retired, we moved to the Ozarks, and we are here now. So now when this happened 4 years ago, when all we knew was God was telling us to do it. We had no idea why. We had no idea why. We didn't understand. We just knew what he said. So we obeyed. We did what he told us to do. Now that we've been here 4 years, now it's really, really clear and more clear all the time why God brought us to this area. In fact, before we got here, he gave us this word. He said, I am removing you from a principality of evil, which is St. Louis, sorry. And I am bringing you to a place where my spirit is already working powerfully. And when we got here, it's so true. It's very different here. The culture is very, very Christian. I didn't know places like this existed coming from St. Louis. But anyway, so since we've moved here, so you know our miraculous story, how we got here. Since we have moved here, we have met hundreds of other people. And we have learned about thousands of other people and other ministries like Billy Brim, who were in some miraculous way, they were called here as well. They have like the same story that we have. You know, like their stories are exactly the same, that they were in some other place, somewhere else in the country. They did not have plans to come to the Ozarks. And in some miraculous way, God said, drop everything you're doing and move to the Ozark Mountains. And we have now met hundreds of people who have that same story that we have. And we've learned about thousands and all these ministries as well. So something big is happening in the Ozark Mountains. It is way beyond coincidence. There is no way that all of this is coincidence. God is doing something. God has definitely been migrating a lot of his children to the Ozark Mountains for some reason. And he's told a lot of us to homestead. That's what he told my husband and I to do. And so that's why we're homesteaders. And now we have over 300 animals now. Crazy. We were city people. Now we're homesteaders. So then after we moved here, that's when we learned about the Corrie ten Boom prophecy. I'd never heard that before. And now since we moved here, we've been miraculously connected to all these different people who have the same visions about God doing things in this area and what God is going to do here, that there's going to be this great revival that's going to originate in this area. And the weird thing is that we haven't tried to make any of these connections ourselves. We have not tried to seek out these people. In a lot of cases, they have come to our front door and knocked on our door Literally. It's been crazy. God has just been making this happen. We have not been trying to make anything happen. And so Craig and I believe very strongly that God brought us here in this miraculous way to be involved in all of this and to help usher it into being through our prayers, along with all these other thousands and thousands of people who've been given the same calling to pray for this last day's great revival. And we believe that we're part of this huge group of people that God has called to be ambassadors of this ring of fire prophecy. And our farm is right in the middle of it. So let me show you. Let me show you this map. This is just crazy. This is a map of the United States, obviously. All right, do you see that red circle in the middle? That is approximately the ring of fire area that Corrie ten Boom identified in her visions, okay? So you see it's southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. All right, do you see the little bitty yellow star kind of a little bit above the middle? That's our farm. That's our farm. Only God could put us at ground zero of the ring of fire prophecy. It's just crazy. Oh my goodness, God is so amazing.